Hey guys, Vernon Mason here, your leadership and team development coach right here with Flipping Teams. Thanks again for coming by. Make sure to click on that like button and also subscribe down below so that way you can get the best content available for you as it comes out. But we also have content available for you right now to really help sharpen those leadership and team development skills. Okay, so please definitely subscribe. If by chance you're viewing this on any other platform besides YouTube, please make sure to click on the link that's provided to you so you can get subscribed right away. So today I'd like to talk to you about tactfulness. That's right, tact. Something that most people really assume policies are really enforced, really in place to help give a more presentable brand, more presentable first impression. But still to this day, I'm noticing a lot of leaders and a lot of managers out there as I'm visiting different locations, different companies, different stores, are absolutely struggling. And it's because there's no accountability there. But there's not a lot of accountability there because most of the people didn't really know the policies they had in place. And I get it, sometimes those lists, those disclosures you blast through when you first sign up is a lot, right? It's very informative information. A lot of that you would think is common sense, but how much common sense out there that we know is not really common sense unless it's accountable, right? Okay, once we make people aware that it has to be common sense, then it becomes common sense. So that's where I'm at right now to help you. Now, of course, in a perfect world, we have a blanket policy that goes across all the industries, all the different companies, to where everyone has the exact same dress code, exact same rules, to looking as sharp and as presentable as possible. But that kind of goes against what we're all about when it talks about building cultures and subcultures, right? Kind of against that because we have different types of brands, different types of images. Some of them are really casual. You don't have to dress sharp. You don't have to look sharp in a suit in order to reach your successes. I think we've had many millionaires, many entertainment specialists out there who've proven that. You certainly don't have to have that. However, I can tell you now that a couple examples I'm about to share with you right now are gonna as blanketed across no matter what industry that you're in, even if the dress code dresses you from shorts to nice slacks, or from a suit to a t-shirt, they are still gonna be bottom line principles that make a massive impact to make sure you utilize the best you can in brand management, okay, in your culture. And it's important for you to hold people accountable. Now, what I mean is that these 4 little rules that I'm definitely gonna share with you, they have to be, by all means, holding people accountable. You cannot allow anybody to disregard these 4 basic rules for you. Right? Because again, first impression, especially these days with technology, with people already knowing what they're walking into, already knowing what to expect from you, you have to make sure that for those who walk in for the first time are going to assume that they will have that wonderful experience every time. Right? An experience that I share a lot in my book, Flipping Teams, A Leader's Guide to Building Top Performing Teams, that I call predictable experiences. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit on today. Matter of fact, tactfulness is such a big deal. It's actually covered in 2 of the 5 pillars in my system. Pillar 4, Alpha Sales 101, and Pillar 5, Building a Culture. All right, it's that big and that impactful. So what are those examples? So I'll give you 4 examples, 4 big impacts that you can utilize across any industry, okay? No matter what your dress code policy might be. And as a matter of fact, if you're working with a big branded company, I'm willing to bet that either one or many of these policies are already implemented in your policy one way or another. But if they're not, or if anything's missing, make sure to fill that void. It gives you the advantage against your other team members or against your other coworkers, and it gives you an even greater advantage over the competition to be successful, okay? 1, good hygiene. Again, I know it's absolute common sense, but you'd be surprised how many team members I've had really challenging with this, be a little challenged with this if there's no accountability in place. Good hygiene, that is a must. Okay, one of the strongest senses that we have, as a matter of fact, it's the most emotionally responsive type of sense is smell. Right? If you walk into a house or a car and it smells horrible, there's only 2 thoughts going in your mind. Either 1, this is a horrible house or a horrible car, or 2, something horrible absolutely happened in this car. Either way, your judgment was passed, your decision was made. You will never give that opportunity again to win you back because of that sense of smell. And that's how impactful it is. So it's very important that we have a strong sense of smell, right? We have good hygiene. We make sure that we're clean, we look tight, we smell good. Okay, so good hygiene, definitely want to be on that. All right, another thing, facial hair. All right, so 2, facial hair. If you have facial hair, you want to make sure it's always clean, always trimmed. Big beards, perfectly fine with the trend, right? If you have trimmed goatees, acceptable, perfectly fine as long as it's trimmed, as long as it's clean. If you're allowing mutton chops, perfectly fine as long as it's clean and trimmed, right? That's what's very important. So all facial hair has to be clean, has to be trimmed, has to be organized, right? And this is going to lead back and circle around to my point about organization. Okay, 3, since we're talking about hair, we're also going to be talking about our hair, how it's presentable. Make sure it's always clean and presentable. All right, doesn't have to be short, doesn't have to be long, ponytail, braided, however you wish to have your hair, as long as it's presentable. And what I mean by presentable is that it's socially accepted. And I think we can kind of get a good idea of what that is, but you definitely want that clean as well, right? So we're talking about from head to toe. All right, and then my 4th biggest thing that you can definitely utilize and put in place is, obviously, it doesn't matter what your dress code is, rather if you're wearing shorts or slacks, if you're wearing this nice suit or a t-shirt, you definitely want to make sure that it is always clean and wrinkled free. All right, stain free. When I say clean, I mean stain free and wrinkle free. Now, wrinkles, of course, loosely defined there, because we get it. There'll be a couple of creases you might have here and there. That's okay. Again, as long as it's acceptably presentable, that's perfectly fine. What I'm talking about is that person who grabs the shirt out of a hamper, has been sitting there for 3 days, toss that on, maybe do a little bit of ironing, but you still got that wild maze that's going on all over the shirt, right? So that is what we want to prevent. Those are 4 things that we have to make sure we hold them accountable. That is what's going to cause your brand image to really hold tight, to really stay strong, and always give a first impression, right? Because like we talked about, any of these other industries, everyone has different types of dress policies in place, okay? But because of those policies in place, if yours is just a little bit sharper, a little more fine-tuned, that's going to give you an advantage over everyone else who had a different policy beaten to them in place, to where they didn't want to care about hygiene, they didn't pay attention to different beards, different styles, how dirty people looked. All right, it's about that first impression, and those are 4 big pieces that we just talked about. Good hygiene, right? Make sure that your hair is in a presentable fashion, making sure that your beard or any facial hair is going to be trimmed and clean, and then your clothes are stain free and wrinkled free, definitely as best as possible. Those 4 big things you can utilize in any industry, and it's going to make a massive impact, not only on your brand management, right? Not only on building that first impression, but on sales. So another big part I was circling around to that I always tell people, you're going to have inexperienced moments, especially inexperienced team members. The only way you can combat inexperience is with organization. And if you look that sharp with just those 4 rules in place, you're going to look organized, you're going to look prepared, and you're going to look confident. I think we all know how impactful that can certainly be when it comes to making the sale, making the deal, making the transaction, right? Making the interview, even landing the job. That's going to be able to help you be successful. So again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time. Those are 4 very important rules to really utilize and push in tactfulness. So we definitely appreciate your time. So again, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe below. Also click the like button. We certainly appreciate it. If you're watching this on any avenue besides YouTube, make sure to follow that link too, and definitely subscribe, because great news is we have the release that's coming out for you, and I'll be sharing that date within the next few days. But our release will be here, so this program can immediately get in your hands, and I can certainly help you build the career you've been trying to career through a secret career path, no matter what industry you're in, called flipping teams. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful day, and again, don't forget, always lead from the front.